You are tuned to Kennett Zenith Cablevision. Thank you for watching. It's time for talk. Each evening at this time, Monday through Friday, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community. Time for Talk is a community betterment service designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program. Tonight, Rosemary takes us by means of portable camera out of our studios and maybe into your neighborhood. And now, it's time for Talk.
An old map of Dunklin County. I mean, this was from an 1843 original survey map, and there are a lot of places on here. There are a lot of places that are not on here, but there are a lot of places that are on here that we've never really heard of. I've never been able to trace. Maybe some of you sitting in the audience can tell us where a place called Beach is that was north of Kennett. But we have a gentleman as our guest tonight who is an authority on most all of these places. He has recorded deeds, and I'm talking about T-Bone Hall. I said, what do you want me to call him? He says, T-Bone will be fine. So he's T-Bone for tonight. Recorder of deeds, and T-Bone, we've talked to you at your office. We've never gotten you down here to the studio, but welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
You have been sitting here telling me some interesting, listen, he has some interesting stories. Names of towns, not in Dunklin County, but things that are familiar to all of us. T-Bone, tell me some of the things you've just related to me about names of towns, like Wardell.
Okay. I don't know if it's official or not, but I was told that some years ago I used to work Penobscot County, called on post offices, and the postmaster at Wardell told me that the original name of Wardell, Missouri was Moscow.
Moscow.
Yeah, and the original name of Braggadocia was Hard Bargain. I don't know where Hard Bargain, it must have been they might have had some real Sharpies and trading down there.
Okay, Hard Bargain. Now, you can call and write or to verify this, what you know about it. All right, go ahead. You told me about another place. Was it Shake Rag?
Shake Rag, yeah. That's a community supposedly between Braggadocia and Steele. Now, I don't know where the name Shake Rag, but everybody over there knows Shake Rag.
All right, and then I have heard, somebody told me that the early name for Bragg City was Clay Root.
Clay Root.
And then it was, before that, it was Owl City.
Owl City.
So you talk about boondocks. We're talking about real bayous and swamps in that sense. But now you have some interesting things to tell us about Dunklin County.
Yes, yes. Well, a lot of towns that were platted back in the early 1900s or prior to the 1900s that don't exist today. But
did they ever exist?
This I don't. Well, I think they did in the sense that some of them, maybe a schoolhouse was there, or a cotton gin, or something like that, a sawmill. Mainly sawmills back then.
Okay, so somebody, there would be a huge sawmill built or something, and somebody would go in and plat the thing. Is this what usually happens?
They were going to make a community. They platted the streets, the alleys, so the people could build a house. They'd have their lot, the size of the lot, just like it is in Kennett today, or Zenith, or
all right, now where are you gonna start?
Okay, I'm going to start south end of the county.
And go north.
Go north. Yes.
All right. Okay, what's the first one?
All right, first town would be Paulding, Missouri.
And T-Bone, where is Paulding on our map?
Paulding is located right on Highway 108, about 2 miles north of the Arkansas line. It'd be south of Arbird. Actually, if you took the highway right there where between Arbird and Cardwell, where Baker Truck and Implement Company is, and turn south. And then you go about 2 miles, and that would be where the town of Paulding was located.
Okay. Now, it never was anything except the schoolhouse, as far as I knew.
Well, that's all I knew, was the schoolhouse.
I played ball in the yard there at the school.
Paulding was platted in January 1905 by Mr. Arion T. Vale. Now, he was the president of Paulding Stave Company, which made barrels and primarily was a sawmill in this area.
Okay, now he had great plans for a factory.
Yes.
I see factory grounds up there.
This was designated as a factory grounds. Here was the railroad, and I assume these lots along here, the railroad will be used for commercial property, the same with these large lots here. Now, the old Highway 25, which a regular Highway 108 would be right over here about this, on the west side of Paulding. Now, when Mr. Vail platted this, there was a total of 111 lots. So it's going to be a pretty nice-sized community.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, the next one is the town of Hollywood, and it was platted by Mr. William Hunter. And he owned this land, and here again is the railroad running east and west, and I assume this railroad connected probably Arbird and Hornesville.
Now, Hollywood still exists. Hollywood was probably a pretty good little town.
Yes.
Now, I've been told that Hollywood was first named Yukon.
Well, I hadn't heard that.
All right, that's back before your time. That's back when they didn't care about facts even. That's back when it was, I have no idea why it was named Yukon. Yeah. But anyway, that's early Hollywood. All right, you've got a good-sized city there.
I think these lots are still in existence today with houses on them. Now, this would be the main street right here, running north and south, and of course the railroad east and west. Now, Hollywood has a total of 51 lots. And the interesting thing about it is that Mr. Hunter lived in Scott City. I don't know if it's Hoxton or Scott City or one of the towns in that area, but he just shows that he's from Scott City. Now, he also purchased some land up in the north part of the county above Granville, and we'll get to that in just a few minutes.
Okay, all right. So much for Hollywood now.
Hollywood is still there. They had a bank. I know we have a...
Hollywood had a bank?
Had a bank, yes.
Okay, all right.
Now, this is the plat of the original town of Arbird. Now, actually, this plat, Arbird was platted originally where Bucota now exists.
What?
Bucota.
Arbird was at Bucota?
Yes. Mr. And the name of the town was taken from the owner of the property, Mr. A.R. Bird, B-Y-R-D. So they put the A-R in the Bird, and that makes the town of Arbird. And,
now, I have seen on old maps it just called Bird.
Yes.
Bird.
Yes.
But his initials and everything were A-R Bird. So it got to be Arbird.
Right, Arbird, right.
And it was at Bucota?
Bucota, right.
Now, if you're confused, so am I. But the plat of Arbird, now I'm looking at this. Was this where it was platted at Bucota, or where it was?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is when it was at Bucota.
Right. This is Bucota.
Okay. What year are we talking about? Do you
all
know
right.
kind of
this was 1897.
1897.
Right.
And do you know what I'm looking at? Cape Girardeau Avenue. Is there still a Cape Girardeau Avenue in Arbird?
Well, not in the town of Arbird today, no.
Okay.
We planted it as Cape Girardeau, Scott Avenue for the Scott County, where it came from. Stoddard Avenue, Stoddard County, and Dunklin Avenue.
Okay. And California and Washington. He's still doing counties, isn't
he? Yes, and he has Washington, California, Colorado, and Missouri. Probably the states and then the counties.
All right. He put a lot of thought into
this.
Yes,
he did.
He just put it in the wrong place. He put it up at Bucota.
That's right.
Okay, now, do you know why? Do you know why it didn't go at Bucota and why it went down to Arbird?
No, I don't. I really don't. I haven't checked that out. Now, I'm sure the people around Bucota and Arbird can tell me in a minute, but I haven't. I didn't ask. I just noticed this when I got in office that Mr. Parker, the previous recorder, informed me that he had these cards and that Bucota was really non-existent, but it was Arbird. So if somebody asked you about Arbird, you'd have to know, well, the original town of Arbird or the second Arbird. So that was kind of confusing to me.
Okay, it's still confusing to me, but that's all right, all right.
And by the description of the property, of course, this is a railroad that comes through, and then I believe this street here, Stoddard Avenue, Dunklin Avenue would be where the highway is down in front of Cotton Gin there.
Oh, okay.
So most of the town laid north, and Mr. Bird had big plans for this because there was 185 lots platted for this town at that time in 1897. And then the present town of Arbird, I don't know, was platted by Annie White and Van C. Redmond. And this was in 1918 when they platted the city of Arbird as we know it today.
Okay, all right. So whatever they did between 97 and
Yes.
18, the people didn't know where they were nor where they lived at that time. They weren't sure. Do you know anything about the history of the name Bucota?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay, that's another thing for you to write in and tell us the history of where the name.
Where?
I had a school teacher who looked at that and said it's Buckadoo,
Buckadoo.
which tickled us to death in class that day. All right, from Arbird or Bucota, where do we go?
All right, now we're going to the town of Manly. Manly, Missouri.
All right. You're going to have to identify that.
All right. Now, Manly, Missouri was platted in 1907. And here are the lots and the town and so forth. Now, here was Chillicothe Avenue, which was the original name of Kennett.
Okay, now tell me, though, where is Manly?
Okay, Manly is now the town of Frisbee, Missouri.
Aha.
And the owners of the property that platted this was Mackey, Virgil Mackey, which is a name familiar in Kennett.
Right.
And the other is C.M. Pritchard, which is a very well-known name around Frisbee.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a total of 33 lots platted, and of course everything was along the railroad.
Okay, do you think the railroad was the basis for platting?
I think it is, yes. Because primarily sawmills.
Okay, but you have no record of how the name got from Manly to Frisbee?
I have no idea. No, ma'am. Sure don't. I'm sure the Pritchards up around Frisbee could tell you.
All right, okay. So Frisbee was Manly, and Arbird was Bucota, and you had to watch what you were doing to know where you were in those days.
Right. Now this is the town. This is the plat of Pine City. Now we know a lot of people know Pine City around Holcomb, south of Holcomb. But there's a fruit stand there, and it's just about a mile south of Holcomb.
Okay.
It's Pine City. But as you can see, at that time, there was 136 lots platted, and they were going to have a thriving community. And here again, here's the railroad.
Always along the railroad.
Always along the railroad. Right.
Something triggered these people to feel like their communities were going to be a great, powerful, growing community.
That's true. And that's why they platted it, and they thought, well, we'll have it like the other towns that probably in Tennessee where they had plats and cities and everything. They're going to do the right thing. But it just never did come to be. And the next one is the town of Moark. I hadn't heard of this one before I got in office.
Tell me where it is.
All right, Moark, Missouri is approximately 2 miles north of a little community we call Pumpkin Center.
Okay, now I've heard of...
East of Kennett.
Okay, heard of Pumpkin Center.
Now, Moark, yes.
I've never heard of.
Mr. G.W. Marshall was the owner of the G.W. Marshall Lumber Company, and he platted this, and I'm sure the railroad, well, I don't see a railroad on this plat, but I'm sure that there was a railroad nearby.
Oh.
But as you can see, it's in lots and blocks, and the sawmill, because he's named most of the streets after trees. Elm Street, Oak Street, Pine Street, and then Lake Street, and I'm sure a lake was full of water.
All right, I'm sure too. All right, we're completely out of time.
Okay.
T-Bone Hall has some more interesting things. He's going to have to come back at a later date. Thank you, T-Bone.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You have been watching Time for Talk. Time for Talk is a community betterment service designed to cooperate with our local community betterment program. Each evening, Monday through Friday at this time, Rosemary interviews local personalities and others who bring items of interest to this community.